Okay, dann machen wir weiter. Photographic print. So, this is a photograph I found. Looks reasonably recent to me. Wait. Das ist doch Mr. Garrideb auf jeden Fall. Das ist Mr. Garrideb und der Typ, der auch als Foto bei Miss Green hing. Ihr Boyfriend oder so. Der hing da das Foto von ihm war aufgestellt, ich glaube sogar exakt dieses Foto, bei Mr. Green, Mrs. Green im Krankenhauszimmer. It was appeared to have been taken on the street in front of the house here. And the gentleman on the left is Mr. Garrideb, the landlord of course. But who's the young man on the right? Mr. Garrideb's son perhaps? Perhaps. You can take that point if you like. Really? Are you sure? We can presume, therefore, that the yard already knows. The identity of the young fellow, that is. Ah! Is that true? Well, it's too bad if we do. Unfortunately for you lot, leaking information isn't one of my pastimes. My dear Inspector, if I may be so bold as to point something out. Pastimes are for one's leisure, but this is for work. Was sind denn Pastime? Pastime. Zeitvertreib, okay. Ach so, Pastime, okay. Ja. All the more reason I'm not telling you. It is my failure. Yes, I heard. The hidden photograph has been entered into the court record. Ist ja nicht so, dass wir zwei andere Quellen haben, die den wahrscheinlich kennen könnten. Oh, Entschuldigung. A photographic print found in Mr. Shamspeare's room. It shows the landlord, Mr. Garrideb, together with a young man. I wonder why a photograph like this was hidden under the floor. I mean, Mr. Shamspeare himself isn't in it. Photographic prints are still rare treasures in the East End. I imagine Mr. Garrideb was rather delighted to have been immortalized. He probably made a proud present of it. Und die Tinbox. Now this tin box looks interesting, doesn't it? Might I suggest, Inspector, that you open it? If you were to find something inside that reveals the truth behind this case, I wouldn't be in the least surprised. Yeah, funnily enough, I've already had a look. It's completely empty. What? Shamspeare, give us a clue, man! You didn't even have the chance to utter a word, Mr. Naruhodo. But anyway, at least we found out what's inside the box. Yes, thin air. It's empty, rather like how I feel inside. Damn. Is there nothing more to this box then, I wonder? Okay. Oh, eine Katze. Okay. Die gucken uns gleich. Achso. Lol, wir haben die Box gar nicht. Schade. Oh! Ist das nicht Mr. Natsumes Cat? Wagahai, oder nicht? Oh, look! It's that lovely little kitty cat. What was its name? It's Mr. Natsume's, isn't it? I don't think we ever asked him, actually. Why don't we call it, Wagahai? You know? Like, Mr. Natsume refers to himself in Japanese. Oh, was heißt Wagahai? Da muss ich kurz recherchieren. Wagahai. Meaning. Wagahai is a classical way to say I. That was used by older men of high social stature. Okay, also das heißt ich. Okay. I wonder how he got in here. Clever cat. Oh, wonderful. Well then, Wagahai, here's something delicious I bought for you from the cat's meat man. Und Soseki Natsume, süß. Soseki Natsume, der Autor, also die echte Person, hat auch ein Buch geschrieben, was hieß I Am a Cat. Habe ich gelernt. Ich möchte eigentlich vielleicht sogar auch nochmal lesen. Aber ja, interesting auf jeden Fall. Süß. He couldn't be happier now. Look. I just hope we can bring some happiness to his owner too. Wagahai. Wo kamst du jetzt her? Said it was a cheeky little meow, Wagahai. Oh, but he's so adorable. I could sit and watch him forever. I think he may not appreciate that after a while, and we have an investigation to get back to. Okay. Waxen haben wir schon mitgetalkt, okay. Gibt hier sonst noch irgendwas, was wir machen müssen, können, tun, wollen? Schon ein bisschen sass, dass Wagahai da einfach durchgekommen ist. Aber wir können hier scheinbar nichts Neues examinieren. Gut, ich würde dann sagen, fürs erste moven wir wieder. Und fragen Miss Green mal. Examine. Dann gucken wir uns erstmal nur das Bild hier an. Look, there's a photograph in this frame here. Ja, das ist derselbe Typ. Oh yes, it's a picture of a young gentleman. He looks to be about the same age as Miss Green, I would say. Perhaps a young woman's special someone, do you think? My, Mr. Naruto, I didn't know you had a sense for matters of the heart. Not in the least. I sincerely said the first thing I thought of. Okay. Mit ihr nochmal reden? So, are you feeling more like yourself today, Miss Green? Okay, es ist nur derselbe Dialog. Schade, wir können es hier nicht zeigen. Na gut. Dann müssen wir zu Mr. Garrett. I'm not very lucky, ja. Die Arme. Okay. Briar Road. The Garrett Room. Gehen wir erstmal zu Briar Road. 22nd February. Briar Road. Okay, hier gibt's scheinbar nichts. Dann gehen wir zu Mr. Garrett. 22nd February, Mr. and Miss Garrett's room. Mr. Garrett appears to be out. I saw. Oh well, I suppose we just have to come back again later. Okay. Prison? Oder wir haben einfach noch was übersehen. 22nd February, Local Prison, Cell 9. Oh, Mr. Natsume is back. So he is. Mr. Natsume, hello! I am a cat. Sorry? I don't know who Mr. Natsume is, or her Lock Sholmes. I don't know about courts or trials or Old Baileys. I am a cat. That's what I am. Just a cat. Mr. Naruhodo, he's trying to escape from reality. Trying to? He already has. Completely. So, what is your name then? As yet, I have no name. Mr. Naruhodo, he hasn't fully thought of out his new identity yet. Maybe it's not too late to bring him back to reality. Do you think you could open your eyes for us, Mr. Natsume? I am not a cat. It worked! He's back in the real world! What's going to become of me? No! Don't answer that! It's obvious! My accursed soul is never going to escape this accursed fate. Mr. Natsume, no. This morning's proceedings in court proves that there's hope. Yes, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire was brilliant, but the Reaper is omnipresent, in court, in my lodgings, here, there, everywhere. What's he looking straight at me for? I think perhaps there's something we should discuss. Oh, yes, we must. Ich bin eine Katze. This morning's trial. In my whole life, have I ever been so moved as I was today? No. Of course, if I cast my mind back, there were perhaps one or two other occasions that moved me more. But if I just block those out, then today, being in that courtroom it was the most moving experience of my life, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. You're too kind. Scotland Yard found the remaining tea, just as we deduced, and are analyzing it as we speak. There's nothing wrong with that tea. They won't find a drop of poison in it. That's a solemn sworn Tosiki certainty. Tell me, did you both drink the tea at the same time that night? Oh yes, most definitely. Remember, drink tea while it's hot. We both poured it down our throats like it was a hot bath for our bellies. And at the time, you were both completely fine. As shown by the fact that he and Mr. Shakespeare then engaged in the Romeo and Juliet match. I suppose the focus of tomorrow's proceedings will be how the poison was taken by the victim then. Mr. Shakespeare. That rotten Shakespeare. What have I ever done to him? You don't recall him taking issue with you over anything you've done recently. I've been holed up in my room, immersed in books. I don't recall anything. Anything at all. Right. But what I don't understand is why he didn't let me know sooner. Let you know what, Mr. Natsume? About the soap, of course. What else? Oh dear. Are you struggling with such a meager stipend? Of course I am. If I had money. I wouldn't have chosen to live in a cursed existence in such accursed lodgings. Ich verstehe immer noch nicht, warum genau die Lodgings jetzt haunted sein sollen. Also klar, weil da jemand gestorben ist und weil er da immer Probleme hat, aber ich hatte mir, als ich diesen Namen gehört habe, was Gruseligeres vorgestellt. Aber gut. Oh yes, you said it's because the place is cursed it's so cheap, didn't you? Exactly, especially the room that I went. The spirit of that capital offender who lived there still haunts the place. And it's trying to kill me! Capital offender? Wait, nein. Meint er den, wie hieß er? Oh, wie hieß er? Selden, genau. Might I ask, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, that the next time you visit me, you bring scores of super soft soaps? Okay, dann fragen wir ihn mal. What's this? It's a newspaper cutting that we found in Mr. Shakespeare's room. Ah, so he knew, did he? Sorry? About this man, Selden. A convicted killer, and the evil spirit behind the curse that afflicts my lodgings. What? He's already taken one young man's life, and now he's trying to take the life of another, a miserable mustached, much maligned Japanese man. Miss Natsume, if you know something, please, you must tell us. Commit an evil spirit behind the curse that afflicts my lodgings. Tell us everything you can about this evil spirit. Capital offender Selden. The truth is, I didn't know the details much myself until very recently. That Selden man was arrested about a year ago now. And at the time, he was hiding out in lodgings at Mr. Garrodup's house. What? He lived where you do now? That's right, yes. Exactly where I live now. In my very room. Oh my. Your room was previously occupied by a criminal found guilty of a capital offense. But before a sentence could be carried out, he died in prison. That was 3 months ago now. And that's when it started. The curse. What really is this curse you keep mentioning, Mr. Natsume? It's already caused 1 death. A few months after the criminal passed away in prison. A man died in the room. The man who rented it after Selden, in fact. Okay. The poor lodger. He was found dead in mysterious circumstances. The room was locked from the inside. Locked from the inside. Exactly like the case we are dealing with now. So that's the convict's curse, is it? Yes. Well, that's what the start. That was the start of it. Okay. The convict's curse. Do you have any idea how the lodger before you passed away, Mr. Natsume? The official cause of death was asphyxia. Ist das nicht Erstickung? Asphyxia. Asphyxia. Erstickung, ja. Und was war... Okay, ja. Asphyxia. And when they discovered the body, the room was full of gas. Gas. I only found that out after I signed the lease. When Mr. Garrodup came to tell me later, I couldn't stop myself trembling. In fact, if I'd known beforehand, I'd probably have been too scared to take the room. Landlord's lease, luckily legal. Lucky for Mr. Garrodup maybe, but not so lucky for poor Mr. Natsume. And now you believe this curse is affecting you. It is. At first, I just felt as though I was being watched, all the time. And then you talked about having nightmares, didn't you? The dead are trying to take me with them. They come for me and try to suffocate me. Just when I'm struggling to breathe, I wake up. And the room is as cold as ice. But why is your room so cold? London winters are too cold to bear without any heating on overnight. But for some reason, even though I light the stove before I climb into bed at night, the pilot light always goes out and the room fills with gas. But that's terrible. Das ist nicht nur terrible, das ist auch terribly dangerous. Das ist sehr gefährlich. Wenn er einmal dann Feuerzeug anmacht oder so, ist er ja weg. That's exactly the same situation as what led to the previous occupant's death. And then there's what happened to Mr. Shamspeare last night, when he was mysteriously poisoned. There's clearly more to that incident than can be explained by a curse though. Whatever can be the cause of all these strange happenings in Mr. Garrodup's rooms? Gute Frage. Gute Frage. Können wir ihm noch irgendwas präsentieren? Das hier? Mr. Natsume. It's nothing much, but... Ah, it's been too long since I've been offered a present with that delightfully humble etiquette of our homeland. What? You're too kind. I accept it gladly. Sorry, but I wasn't trying to give it to you, actually. Okay. Handprints on the wall. Kann uns darüber noch was sagen, wie die Tassen? Okay, auch nicht. Dann gehen wir weiter, würde ich sagen. Und kommen vielleicht nochmal später wieder. The Garrodup's Room. Ist er jetzt vielleicht da? Ja, also. 22nd February, Mr. and Mrs. Garrodup's room. Ah, you are here now, Mr. Garrodup. White body business. It is for me, you know? Getting out and about. Were you at the Old Bailey by any chance? Naturally, fate of my lodging is hanging in the balance and all that, not a trial to miss. The fate of what's already been dubbed your haunted lodgings, yes. Of course, the place has caused quite a stir around the capital on more than one occasion already. As the old haunted lodgings, or some such. Ah, well, at least he knows. Makes you wonder what the blazes is going on, don't you know? Yes, I'm sure it does. In fact, thinking back to Mr. Natsume's other trial just 2 days ago. You were at the Old Bailey then as well, weren't you? Testifying with your wife about what happened. Stopped off at the prison on the way home, in fact. Beastly business. I see. So, what brings you to my haunted abode today, eh? Reden wir. Your lodgings. Some fishy fellow from the Far East and a failed actor chap of questionable character, eh? Yes, the house does seem to have become something of a magnet for rum fellows of late. Thanks to that bally curse. The convict's curse, you mean? Ah, heard the stories, have you? Rotten scoundrel was arrested here, then the next chap in the room goes and keels over. Then there was that woman who dropped dead just outside on the street, not to mention the actor yesterday. Am I next there? Well, can't help but get the collywobbles, can you? Collywobbles? Ist das Gänsehaut oder? Collywobbles. Magenflattern, okay. Bauchschmerzen. When you say the woman who dropped dead outside on the street, do you mean Miss Green? Because Miss Green, who was stabbed by the knife, and Mr. Shamspeare, who was poisoned last night, are both very much alive still. Yes, well, so is that blessed convict's curse, it seems. Personally, I should be quite content with such lodgings. A bath, a toilet, a fireplace, a fascinating history. Why? It sounds like the lap of luxury. I'm not so sure about that. Well, there's no bath or toilet included, and no fireplace either. But you do look out for your tenants, don't you? By watching the rise and fall of the flames in your gas lamps up here. Yes, never hurt to keep an eye on things, in case there are any mishaps or such like. I think you've had your mishap already, sir. That's not helpful, Mr. Sholmes. Heaven forgive me, the word just came to my lips. Your lodgers. Some fishy fellow from the Far East and a failed actor, chap of questionable character, eh? There's no need for that, Mr. Goedepp. That's right, Mr. Natsume is in no way fishy. He is undeniably peculiar, however. Is it right that he took the vacancy immediately after the previous tenant passed away? Yes, that's right. I asked the estate agent to find someone and he popped up the very same day. Never come across a chap so keen for a place with a background, as it were. I don't think it was the room's background he was keen on so much as the cheap rent, actually. So, how long has Mr. Shamspeare been lodging under your roof? That failed actor chap? Let me see. Oh, of course. Yes, it's been 3 months now. Quite sure of it. Only 3 months. He's quite new here too then. And to what do you owe your certainty in that regard, Mr. Goedepp, if I might ask? Well, it was that Selden scoundrel as it happens. Selden? The convict, you mean? Do Selden and Shamspeare have some kind of connection then? Shamspeare's tenancy. That convict chap, Selden, passed away in the clink 3 months ago now, you see? Some malady or other. Yes, we've seen the report from the newspaper at the time. Well, it was only 3 days later that the tragedian showed his face. The actor fellow. Really? Yes, I remember it quite distinctly. 'Tis small, this world we inhabit. Prithee, landlord, hear my request. I, the humble Shakespeare, do desire to take thy room. On the middle floor offered earway for rent. Terribly sorry and whatnot, but that won't be possible. Already have a lodger on the middle floor. Ground floor rooms vacant though. Nothing can be made out of nothing. Let me repeat mein Will unto thee. Warte, was? In the middle floor, ja okay, da ist ja Natsume schon. Those curs must be muffling your ears. The room on the middle floor is taken. It's ground floor or nothing. Very well. We have an accord. Warte mal. Well, it was only the tragedy showed his face, the actor fella. Yes, I remember quite distinctly. Okay. Very well, we have an accord. Glad to hear it. Welcome to Briarwood. Lo! A Shakespeare dance to celebrate! Was ein exzentrischer Typ. From what I heard in court today, sounds like the chap was thieving gas. And he was 3 months in areas with the rent, too. In areas? Was ist das? Also in Rückzug wahrscheinlich? In Verzug. Rückstände. Zahlungsverzug, okay. Yes, the fellow was a bawdy player, alright. Thank you for your candor, Mr. Goldep. We are most grateful. By way of appreciation, allow me to say 1 or 2 words. Give me my robe, put on my crown. I have immortal longings in me. What's happened to you? Shakespeare, my dear fellow, one of his most famous lines. I wish to divulge my own learning of the subject, for I have a turn for literature too, you know? Also ich muss sagen, ich studiere ja auch Anglistik und alles, ne? Aber Shakespeare geht so völlig an mir vorbei, leider. So völlig. So, also, ich habe Othello gelesen auf Englisch und danach dachte ich kann kein Englisch mehr, weil mich das Englisch da so abgefuckt hat, um es mal auf Neudeutsch zu sagen. Also wirklich, ich dachte danach, ich kann kein Englisch mehr und ich kann eigentlich ganz gutes Englisch. Aber, nee, Shakespeare, nein, danke. Perhaps you could turn your attention to more apt lines then. Okay, dann zeigen wir ihm mal das Bild. Da muss er ja was zu sagen haben, wer das ist. Zeigen wir ihm das mal.